How are you doing?
Good.
Sounds like you're doing pretty good, right?
Yeah.
On the first page of Google. So talk to me. How are you feeling about it?
Really good. I probably checked it maybe 2 or 3 months ago, and I had, all the red arrows, and I was like, "Ugh, well, shit." So I haven't checked it in a while, and then I saw some other people posting that their SEO Edge, rankings. I was like, "Oh, let me check." And, I saw 7 and 8, and I was like, "I think that's first page of Google, right?"
Yeah.
So that
Yeah.
was pretty exciting because it was for the keywords that I wanted,
Mhm.
my number 1 keywords, and so that was it's super exciting to, like, actually see that progress and finally see, like, I'm the 2nd or 3rd photographer on there, like, not wedding wire, ads, all that stuff, but in terms of other photographers or videographers,
Yeah.
I'm, like, the 2nd or 3rd, so that's pretty cool.
So how's that feel?
Really good, yeah.
Really good.
Exciting, super exciting.
Excited. Well, that's awesome.
Yeah.
And you've ranked before for some keywords, but you really wanted to rank for these particular keywords that you just started ranking for, right?
Yeah, these are the ones that I really want, obviously, Las Vegas wedding videographer. That's the big one I want, because I
Yeah.
think that's the one that people are actually searching for in terms of video.
Yeah.
There's some other, like, stragglers and stuff like that, but this is, like, the big one, and to be on the first page for both, variations of the wording is exciting.
That's very exciting. So
Yeah,
you've got tons of visibility now, and it sounds
yeah,
like you're saying that one of the weddings that you booked via Google is getting
mhm.
published.
Yeah, so that was exciting. I think we started in, like, last January.
Mhm.
So then ranking kinda started going up. I booked my first Google inquiry in May, and then
Mhm.
it didn't happen till September, and then, so the wait's long, right? It's like, you book them, and then there's a few months until you even have that wedding, and then, you edit it and everything, and then you submit it to publication, and so now it's getting published, um, in Rock and Roll Bride, which is obviously I'm a Las Vegas wedding videographer. That's my ideal, publication is, uh, more of those alternative kinda elopement, um, publications. So that's super exciting.
It is. It
Yeah.
sounds like you're excited.
Mhm.
And so I mean, you're using Wix,
Uh-huh.
and which is one of those things that I think when we first started working together, it was kind of like, I'm using Wix. Is that going to work?
Yeah.
Right. So
Uh-huh.
can you rank on Google using Wix?
I'm gonna say you can rank on Google using Wix.
It
Trust me, I wanted a cute show it template too, but I'm glad I just stuck with it, and I trust you said, "We can do it." You were on Squarespace, and, I was like, "Alright, let's do it." So, I'm glad I stuck with it because I can edit my website anytime I want.
yes. Yeah, and that's what you're
Super
used
easy.
to, right?
Yeah, it's
So it's like with easy SEO, do you feel like it's been true? Have I been true to my word? Do you feel like it's been like seeing where you've come from where you're ranking nowhere
Mhm,
and now like ranking on the first page of Google for the keywords that you like really, really wanted to rank for?
mhm.
Do you feel like can I keep the name easy SEO? I mean, what's the Haley Whalen final word on it?
I think it's super easy SEO if you wanna put the work in,
Yeah.
and, it's easy to do, but you gotta really try it. I think the hardest thing for me was not the SEO part, but who is your client? What are you even trying to tell them? What is your, website map? How do you get them to stay on there? What, like, if they find you,
Right.
why would they book you? And so that was kind of my hardest part. And then because you can't keyword and you can't really write all your copy if you don't know who you're writing it to.
Yes.
So I think that was the hardest part, and until I did that, my SEO was kinda all over the place, right?
Yeah.
I think I went back and forth, like, 2 months, and I was like, "I'm sorry, Jeff. I redid everything." I'm glad I did, because once I stuck with that, it was I'm just keep going up and up and up, and it's exciting to see because I really haven't put in work in probably 3 or 4 months. Haven't even blogged or anything.
So no blogging,
Mm-mm.
and you've hit the first page of Google. No blogging.
Yeah. Uh-huh. Well, I mean, I've previously blogged, I have whatever that, um, minimum number of blogs is that Google sees to see that you're, an established website. I read that somewhere, I don't know. But I
How
haven't
many
blogged
blogs do you
in 3
have?
months. Mm, not that many, I would say. Let me see. Hmm. 34. I think it was like you have to have 25 or 15 or even 30 to be like established on Google and not be a new website.
Eh, I,
I
I,
read that somewhere. I don't know. I don't know how much I believe it, but I have 34 blogs, not
I
that
do,
many.
yeah, I do see people that make it to the first page of Google without
Absolutely.
blogging at all. But you've
Absolutely.
seen growth over that 3-4 months where you've done nothing is when you
Yeah.
actually saw the big jump.
Yeah, I haven't blogged since September 1st. So
Okay, that's pretty exciting.
yeah.
So it sounds like you. I mean, you've made this huge amount of progress, and I know you were saying that a lot of clarity in who you're actually serving was what gave you the focus to really create a user experience, and not only for Google, not only for people coming to your website,
Mhm.
but it sounds like that gave you a lot of direction with SEO.
Yeah, I think if you have to write that copy and how many times can you put in your keywords into your copy, but it's like if you don't know what else to write to that person besides, "I'm a wedding videographer in Las Vegas," and I do wedding videographer in Las Vegas.
Yes.
You can only see that so many times without having to put in, like, BS filler stuff, so once I had that idea of who I'm writing to and, a clear kind of goal, it was a lot easier to write that copy, and that copy is what you need, right? You kept saying, "Up your copy, up your words," because I did not have enough.
Yeah. And so what it sounded like is like the actual SEO stuff is easy. It's just
Mhm,
again, what is my message? That's the hardest part.
mhm. Yeah, that's the hardest part, and that's something that you have to find within yourself, but, I'd say that I've never had a business coach. You're the closest thing I've had to one, and I think that it was amazing just to kinda have someone kick my butt into gear. I can't launch my website, I can't SEO it until I know those questions. Who is my ideal client? Blah, 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 and what does that mean to me?
Right.
Because I was that person who is I'm trying to sell for everyone, and then I'm speaking to no one.
Mm,
And so now that, like, I kinda did that, and then I was able to really use everything that you teach, which is super easy to implement if you know what you want to tell that person
yes.
on Google.
Yeah. And that's why I think one of our first conversations, Haley, was what do you want to do?
Yeah, we didn't even talk about SEO the first call. I mean, a little bit, but it was like,
Yeah.
you need to know what you wanna do because
Yeah.
you can't make a keyword. You can't spearhead it if you don't know what your keyword is supposed to be.
Yes. And remind me, did you try ranking on Google before you kind of reached out to me?
Um, yeah, I mean, I think I'd set up, like, Google Analytics and stuff like that, and I was blogging. I didn't know how to, like or even know what, like, um, H1, H2, H3 text was. I didn't know any of that stuff. I didn't really know about the power of, like, the copy that you're writing on your website was. I would just try to Google myself, and I
Mhm.
couldn't even find it.
Right.
I'd go, like, 40 pages deep into Google, still not there. It's discouraging.
Yes. I know that that's SEO hell. That's what
Yeah.
that's about. So now,
I think I did Google Ads once. You get that free
yeah,
Google ad credit.
yeah.
Um, it didn't go well.
Oh, so how much did you blog prior to? Because I guess what I'm trying to figure out is how much work did you put in prior to us starting to work together? Like how much blogging did you do, for instance?
Mm, I probably had about 15 blogs before we started. Um, but it was mostly like one tiny little paragraph of text and not really good keyworded titles.
Mm-hmm.
And then the titles and the like SEO on the actual blogs was really bad. So when we started, I redid all of the blogs. I added more text, took off a bunch of the photos, added the alt text into all of the photos on my blogs, retitled them, re-SEO'd each blog, and then have then since forth done that to all the new blogs.
Mm.
So I kind of changed the way I blogged based on kind of what you taught, which
Yeah.
was like you need to rank on Google Images. Okay,
Yeah.
that took a long time.
Yeah. And now, have you been tracking keywords for specific blogs?
No.
You might be on way more on Google than you even know.
Yeah,
Now,
I think one of my blogs is doing well. I honestly just haven't been tracking
yeah.
anything.
But I think that's great though, because like even still, it's like the last 3 or 4 months you haven't blogged at all.
Yeah.
And 3 or 4 months ago, you weren't on the first page of Google, even though you had
Mm-mm.
been blogging for a long time.
Yeah.
So, one of the things that I'm always trying to tell people is, you don't have to blog.
No.
You don't have to.
Mm-mm.
And so I just, I think that's encouraging. And
Mhm.
I mean, it's great if you want to blog, but I'm happy to see that you've seen these really awesome first page results.
Mhm. Yeah, it's super
Without
exciting.
necessarily have to keep blog and blog and blog and blog and blog. And even when you were
Yeah.
blogging a lot,
Mhm.
you weren't necessarily seeing the results that you've seen now this past week.
Mhm. Yeah. It's
Um,
super exciting to log on and see that.
I just want to, because I kind of want to relish it here. It's like, let me see if I can find our tab here. Um, this was your post, right? Where you were like, are you seeing
Yeah.
that on the screen? It's like,
Yeah.
does 8 and 7 mean I'm on the first page? Can someone confirm? And I saw that and I was like, uh-oh, uh-oh.
Yeah.
And then, of course, we got a few confirmations here in the group, but,
Yeah.
it's like being able to pull yourself up here. And I mean, you're actually, and I'm sure you'll move up more, but I mean, you are right now the second
Yep.
actual videographer on the first page of Google.
Yeah.
And likely you'll move up because that's what we see,
Mhm.
people, our other members, when they hit the first page of Google. It's just a matter of time typically before they really start competing with the number one, number two, number three
Yeah.
spot. So, I mean, right now you've only got Thumbtack, Yelp, uh, and Peerspace, which are huge websites.
Yeah, and the cool thing is I'm in that Peerspace article, so that's
Right.
exciting.
Right. So if they click that, they see you and they see you on the
Yeah.
first page of Google. And so that's
Yeah.
awesome. That's
Mhm.
awesome.
Yeah.
Um, so what's been maybe the most enlightening thing to you since you've started using Easy SEO?
Um, that I can book on Google and I don't have to rely on Instagram because I feel like the Instagram realm is sometimes I'll get some inquiries and then other times it's just I haven't gotten an inquiry in weeks. So that's kind of discouraging. Whereas like in Google, I've been getting a lot, and then it's also helped. I think it's helped my, not that I pay for Wedding Wire or anything like that, but I think it has helped those because I've been getting a lot more inquiries through them.
Mhm.
I don't know, maybe that's just wrong. Maybe that's just a coincidence, but I feel like
You're
it's been helping that.
you're saying
Um,
you think that you feel like because you're on Google, it's even helping you get inquiries other places. Is
I
that what
think
you're saying?
so. I don't know because I've literally never gotten a Wedding Wire inquiry until the last few months. I've been getting so many.
Yeah.
I don't know. It could be a total
Well,
coincidence.
Haley, here's what I do believe actually, that if you are on Wedding Wire or not, here's what people
Mhm.
do, right? Like they do still Google search.
Yeah.
And so they might reach out to you, but it's because they've already seen you 2 or 3 other places.
Mhm. Mhm.
So and one of the things that I'm going to start, that I'm working on some more videos for our members is like how to essentially be seen all over the place. And this, stuff that you'll be able to see here in the near future, probably here in the next couple months. It's just something I'm working on that can add tons of value. But it's because of that. The principle is, okay, they see you on Google. So now even if they're on Wedding Wire, now you have a lot more, it's like repetition.
Yeah. And
So,
that honestly probably is what it is.
Yeah.
Because previously you couldn't even find me on Google.
Yep. Yeah, but now they're probably seeing you there. They're seeing you on Google Images, and then maybe they are using the Knot and Wedding Wire, which, the Knot and Wedding Wire for me, it's like, I don't rely on it. I don't, we do have profiles on there, but that's not what I rely on.
Yeah.
And most of my really legit inquiries don't come through the Knot and Wedding Wire. Very few.
No.
Very few do. But still, what I find, if I ask people my inquiries, I'm like, hey, where did you find me? They'll be like, well, I'm on the Knot, but I Google searched. It's good to ask them sometimes. Just be like, hey, where'd you find me? And sometimes they'll even say Instagram, but I found you on Google first, and then I saw you on Instagram. And a lot of times it's just multiple places. So I think that's not dumb for you to say that. I think that's probably very, very legit. And that's been my experience too.
Yeah.
So, cool. So what's been maybe the most what's been the most helpful thing for you when it comes to being in the Easy SEO program?
I'd say knowing how to actually go into your website and change those things that Google sees. Because it's like my website essentially looks the same as it did before we started. And honestly, without the Easy SEO, I would have not known any of that. And since then, I've kind of, gone further into SEO blogs and some more kind of stuff. And so when I read about, H1 text or, keywording and stuff like that, I kind of know what all of that means. And so it's only been a starting place, right? Where now I can go and look for more stuff, or when I read other things or see what other people are doing, then I go, oh yeah, I know what that means. And then also I'm not seeing, there's a ton of people, you can pay for them to do your SEO, and I don't feel like I'm missing out and have that FOMO where it's like, oh, I want to hire that person and have them do my website. I'm like, I'm kind of skeptical about website designers, right? Now that I know how to SEO everything, I don't really want to give someone that full control, because they honestly might not know what they're doing.
Yeah, exactly. And if you did hire somebody at this point,
I could double check them. Yeah.
Yes. And not that you need to, because like you were saying, a lot of it is just kind of getting your messaging right.
Yeah.
But now that you have all that straight, well, let me ask this first. Do you feel like you need to do a lot more to your site now that everything's kind of set up?
No, in terms of how it's SEO'd and everything like that, no. There's certain things where it's like, oh, I want to add in more color, or I see someone's and I see that they, have it look like this. There's some aesthetic things that I would want to do.
Right.
But honestly, I could probably figure out how to do them all myself. I don't feel like I need to do that much work. Yeah, no.
Okay.
I just sometimes want to change the colors, or not the colors themselves, but oh, maybe I want to make this background, instead of have it be a solid color, have it be ombre, just stuff like that, where it's
that's more aesthetic. That's aesthetic stuff. But kind of piggybacking on that, do you feel that now that you've updated all this stuff that's very user experience based, that's really it's kind of the product of you figuring out, okay, who am I actually writing to here? Do you feel like more of the people that are inquiring are more like fans versus just people that are kind of inquiring, or have you not really seen much of a difference, or what's been your experience in terms of the quality of leads that you're getting?
Yeah, so I feel like the Google leads that I get are the most true to my style and true to my ideal client, because my website is so specific. It has, very 60s and vintage text with rainbows and, groovy style, and I really only try to post the photos on there and the videos on there that are those kind of wild elopement ideal clients. So then when people see my website, they either love it or they hate it.
Yeah.
Right. I'm sure that someone getting married in a vineyard is gonna see my website and go, ah,
Yeah. Yeah.
not for me,
Right.
which is good.
That's what you want, right?
Yeah, that's what I want.
I mean, do you
Which
feel that?
before I would have been scared, but I want people to know when they come onto my website, like, hey, I'm the videographer for you. Look at these other couples. They are similar to you. They want, not even in the way they look, but in the things that they do.
Yeah.
They want to pop champagne in the middle of the desert and rent a vintage car.
Right.
And
And
then
that's
those,
that kind of stuff was like our first, if I remember correctly, one of
yes.
our first conversations.
Uh-huh.
It was like, okay, you're going to be getting inquiries,
Yeah.
but like, what kind of inquiries do you want to get?
Yeah.
Because we could just get inquiries, but I remember you
Uh-huh.
were kind of like, I don't really want to shoot these big weddings, like
Yeah.
I just want to do these very specific types of weddings. And a lot of it
Mhm.
was just, again, going kind of back to what you said,
Mhm.
figuring out what my boiled down clear messages. And your website's just packed with personality. I mean, it's packed with personality. Like, it's very much you.
Yeah.
And I love it because, people, when they see it on Google and they click through, like, they're going to remember it.
Mhm.
Even if they don't book you, like, they're going to
Yeah.
remember, like,
Mhm.
it's just memorable because you've set it up in a way that the user experience is the front and center. And
Mhm.
that's, apart from, like, if you just got SEO, but you don't have all that. I mean, like if we hadn't had some of those conversations about, okay,
Yeah.
messaging, idle client, what do you want to do? What's your desire? And you just would have ranked on Google. How do you think it would be different?
I'd be shooting a lot of stuff that I don't want to be shooting. And I did some of those big weddings this fall, and it only reminded me of how much I want to be doing elopements
Yeah.
and booking my ideal client. And how much it really, the leads that I'm getting on Google are those people who have
Yeah.
seen, you know, I don't know how they saw exactly what they wanted on my website and they go, I want that. And
Yes.
I want that one. And I go, okay, great, perfect.
Yeah. That's awesome.
Mhm.
Um, well, and I was going to ask you, do you care if I share this at all?
No, not at all.
Okay. I asked, Lee hit the first page of Google for DC. I don't know if you've
Mhm.
seen Lee at all in the group, but Lee had hit the first page, and I asked him to do kind of like just a monologue, even like talking to someone that might be considering trying to do like what
Mhm.
you've done, where maybe they're wanting to rank on Google, maybe they've tried another course. I
Mhm.
mean, if you could kind of talk to yourself back, you know, before you started
Mhm.
on easy SEO, like maybe just take like a minute or two and just in your own words and your own heart, like what would you say to yourself or what would you say to that person?
So I'd say be ready for a lot of work. Be ready to really dig deep into who you want to be on Google, because once you get there, you want to be happy with it. And I know that I initially didn't do that. And then I was starting to see some results. And I wasn't happy with how my website was, who my ideal client was, what I was trying to say on Google. Um, then once I decided this is the path that I'm going, these are the keywords that I want to rank for, I decided on my aesthetic, my ideal client, everything about that. The course just made it so simple. I mean, it's literally just drag and drop. This is what you do. This is how you do it. Um, Down to exactly where to find it on your website, in your website builder. It makes it so easy. Um, that's why it's called Easy SEO. It really isn't hard because Jeff makes it super easy for you to do all of that stuff. But the work, you have to do the work.
Mhm.
Um, and I'd say that do it sooner. Don't wait, because everyone is getting on that SEO game. And if you don't get on it, you're going to be behind.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. Well,
Mhm.
awesome. Anything else you'd like to add?
And Jeff is an awesome business coach too.
Well,
Just is all around awesome, honestly.
thank you so much, Haley. Well, and I mean, you've been awesome in terms of just being someone that takes it seriously.
Mhm.
You know, like you said, like it's not hard in
Mm-mm.
terms of like the steps are there. It's
Mhm.
all laid out. But sometimes if you really want to be somebody that succeeds, like you got to dig deep and figure out like what do you want? And a
Mhm.
lot of that is the initial stuff that's like if you get your messaging right, you get clarity on what you want, then everything sort of falls in place. In the actual SEO side of things,
Super easy.
super easy.
Mhm. Yeah.
So
And I think the thing is what you said, right? Even if they don't book me, they find me on Google, my website's memorable. You wanna make sure that your website isn't exactly like everyone else's, because if you get found on Google and then, they wanna go back, if they don't remember who you were, because your website, it just looks like everyone else's, um, kinda sucks. So, I'd say that's the biggest thing is, like, make sure your website's you and
yeah,
know what you wanna do with it, and then use easy SEO and rank because it will happen. If you follow the steps, you'll rank.
yeah, yeah.
You will.
And, and what you're saying is very profound because it's like, if you wanted to shoot big weddings,
Mhm.
300 person larger weddings, like whatever you wanted, you could have
Yeah.
done that. And it
Mhm.
works for anybody, but it's just figuring out what you want. And
Yeah.
like you did that really almost like, cause I remember you had this period of time where, you were like, I redid all this. I'm like, oh my gosh, like she's going crazy here. Not in a bad way, but I was
Yeah,
like, she's
yeah,
redoing it all.
yeah.
And you actually had already hit the first page of Google for a particular keyword, which I think you may still be, I think you're still maybe number one for that other
No,
keyword.
I'm sure.
Um, but it was cool seeing you kind of like once you nailed down the vision, being able to really revamp everything.
Mhm.
But again, like if you wanted big weddings, medium-sized weddings, travel weddings, whatever you wanted, if that was what the vision was that you had in your soul, like you could have done that, but
Mhm.
it would work for anybody. But it's just that being able to nail that down and having the direction, I think
Yeah.
is huge. So it's encouraging to hear you say that. Um, and it's been a pleasure. It's been a pleasure getting to know you a little bit and seeing you thrive. And I've been a fan ever since I met you. So it's continuing to be exciting. So thank you so much for jumping on here with me, Haley.
Yeah, absolutely, and thank you for everything because I would be on the 110th page of Google if it wasn't for you.
You be in SEO hell.
Yeah.
Awesome. All right. Well, anything else you want to chat about before we jump off here? I'm super
Yeah.
stoked. I'm pumped for you. So you let me know if I can do anything else for you. And I don't know. I just keep looking forward to seeing you grow. Let me know if you see
Thank you.
anything else happen. Okay.
Alright, I will. Thank you so much, Jeff.
Hey, thank you, Haley. See ya.
Bye.